knowing you never sit in the shade of it, but it's the right thing to do for the kids, the youth. And with Danforth's program over here, with Angela running it, the ELO program, it just delights me. And from that point on, I was almost semi-retired, and I took a real interest in this, and I understand how this works now. Van lives about a mile from me, and he's the last one that got copper internet. And said, well, everyone's gonna get this. Well, that's gonna be wonderful. Just kept it going first, and as it moved on, I see more and more people get involved. And now we're here. And again, it's not gonna help me a lot in my life, but it's gonna help my children and my grandchildren to move forward and grow these communities. When I graduated high school, there was 500 people in Wood Pitlock, Maine. Now there's 110. Same as every other community. If we can get them back, I know it's not gonna be family and kin, but we can grow these communities again and be viable. And when I spoke earlier about the ideas coming, I didn't have a clue what that was all about, but they showed up and we got some money. You know, and one other plug I would like to put in, as you heard, in the forest products industry for almost 50 years off, and I've seen a lot of startup organizations. And every year we, in them organizations, we fought to raise money for our executive director. When Sarah Strickland got down and passed the torch to Chris, we don't have to worry about painting for 2 or 3 years. She did a remarkable job, and being a director on that board gives me peace of mind that we're not gonna have to do the unthinkable thing, go chase money to pay for our people to do this service. So with that, thank you, Sarah Strickland. Thank you very much.
Mary, one of the stories that Lynn has shared with me, if you want to come up, that would be really great. I think the Vanceboro story is unique, and it's, excuse me guys, I'm not anyways, and so I really want Mary to tell you the story briefly, yes, and briefly, but the connection to the Historical Society and how this has all come together for Vanceboro, I think is really helpful.
I think so too. Yes.
That may not be the story.
No, just gave me my talking points. Thank you. First of all, there's always a kernel of hope. And this is a story of making damn good lemonade out of lemons. Or maybe hard cider, since it's that time of year. But Vanceboro, and now Simon knows where it is, he can tell you where it is. It's the end of Route 6. And thanks to the people of the greater East Grand region, Vanceboro has fiber all the way down Route 6. You travel down Route 6, and there's 2 beautiful things that you see if you went down there today. Well, there's a few more. But the gorgeous fall colors and that fiber running down. And it all came together because the grit and the determination of the community of Vanceboro. I lived in Vanceboro from 1947 to 1960, but I still consider it my hometown. And I started again working with the select board there is an awesome group of people. They're all 50 and younger, aren't we lucky? And I started working with them and with Edie Smith from Senator King's office when the border closed. Now, if you've ever been to Vanceboro, you'll know that if I'm here in the United States and the gentleman in the pretty red and blue pink plaid shirt in the back, that would be Canada. So when the borders close, you can't get anywhere, really. So we started working together. And we realized there were were several things that we needed, and broadband was large among them. There was also, we realized and we knew, that we have this incredible history in our town. It's an international crossroads. It has been since 1871, when President Grant drove the Golden Spike, we're still looking for that spike, into the bridge that connected St. John, New Brunswick, McAdam, New Brunswick, Vanceboro, Maine, all the way across the state of Maine, out through Jackman, into Quebec, Montreal, Ontario, and to the west. So we're not at the end of the line, we're in the line, and we are the line. So Lynn Brown and Elaine Peasley Henshaw and several other people started building a historical society. And we went to the town, and the select board said, why, yes, you can have a classroom, why not? Because it's the old school, we lost our school, but. So we have our historical society. We had this most absolutely wonderful 150th anniversary celebration. Senator Moore was there, Edie was there, and we opened our historical society. And in our historical society, we have 300 or 400 members, Lynn, I think maybe. It's people from all over the world whose Vanceboro is their heart and their soul. And this is the heart and the soul for many of us. So the broadband connects us. It connects us even greater than that golden spike. So I would say that you guys have found the golden spike.
I want to go out to the audience now and also entertain questions if people have them. But I want to point to artists. Charlie Martinberry, is she still here? She had to step out. Artists, and can you shed some light from the Living Community Center's perspective of how important broadband will be to helping the elderly in the community, help them thrive in place, help them stay here? I bet people can hear you from back there if you...
I'll try. My voice is kind of soft, but I'll try.
Yeah, no, you're doing it.
Already, it's made an impact. We are a satellite office for Rustic Area Agency on Aging. So we're already networked, and we have a conference center down there. So we can stream their programs from Presque Isle right into our center. And so we're offering the same programs throughout the county. So it's a huge, big first step. And that's just the beginning. I mean, we do have 2 private computers where the elders, we can actually help them with appointments. You know, we could, with their permission, you know, do a doctor's appointment or something with them that way. It is going to become the Digital Equity Center, and there's going to be, you know, some education there. And but the wave is totally through the internet, so they're going to have to learn that as much as they don't want to. But we do have, I will say, we have a coffee time gang, and that ranges 75 and up, and they're all on Messenger, and they chat, and it's probably only 2 of that group that refuses to chat. So they're coming. It's coming. So that's a nutshell.
Thanks, artist.
Yep.
Marcia Sloan. Charlie's not here, so I'm gonna grab you. Part of what I think is really a conundrum, and this is about some of the constraints that are there, and I'm curious about how you might frame that and where the opportunities might be. And this is for people who are living in poverty or at a means where folks have to potentially choose between a utility and going on internet and having accessibility. From the experience with Family Futures Down East and your knowledge of the challenges that many families have in rural Maine, can you speak about where the opportunities are to reduce the constraints, where you see the opportunities and the possibilities. There may not be solutions right now, but we should have them on the horizon.
Thanks, Sarah. She put me on the spot. I didn't prep this. So I think a couple of the places where we see challenges, we work with parents going to college. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars a year. Gabby could tell me how much, but to get MiFi devices into the hands of parents so that they can access college online. And it's not a great job. It's not a solution for everyone. There are still parents who can't access the program even with all the financial resources we have. So there's definitely those like gap communities that, like my own personal one, that still needs to be connected in this way. I think the other thing is just, it was in the video, but the affordability factor, I think that is still going to be a challenge for some people. We often are providing MiFi devices to people who are served by some of the larger providers in Washington County, and they still can't afford it. So keeping that affordability low, figuring out ways, the loss of the Affordable Connectivity Program was huge for a lot of families. And so figuring out how to keep that affordable for young parents in poverty, for our aging population who are living on Social Security. How do we keep it affordable? The last thing I'd say is, and this is Shane's Renshaw's story, but we had a student who lived in Topsfield not too long ago, and he wanted to own his own business, and he was having trouble accessing school. He couldn't start a business. We gave him a MiFi device, and I remember Shane coming back, and this guy was just overwhelmed by how much he could do with just this little box that we were paying for every month. I'm hoping that he's on this new plan, but he built his business off a MiFi device, but he could offer so much more to this region now that he's going to be fully connected.
Thank you, Marcia. Thanks. Are there questions, comments, insights from the audience? What is this conversation prompting? Bringing it to the rest of Washington County. Bringing it to the rest of Washington County, right.
I envision it, yeah.
Bees, you know what, maybe this is a capital time to talk about bees.
Yes.
I was trained on telehealth 3.5 years ago. I wouldn't have had a clue. I just got a message from Downbeat Orthopedics for my hand. That's gonna save a lot of time. 3.5 years ago, I had to turn to my wife and said, "What's that?" Being involved with the band, with IT guys, it's a thing of the future.
Susan, I'm curious about what you're noodling on. I know. I'm curious about what you're noodling on. Susan is the president of Washington County Community College, and there's a growing close working relationship between East Grand School and Washington County Community College, which is wonderful. I'm wondering how being in Danforth and listening to what the history has been, what you're noodling on.
A lot. I
Yeah.
don't think I can sum it up here this afternoon, but just thinking about the educational opportunities and the growth opportunity that this is creating within rural Maine is so important. Elaine talked about the collaboration that's going to be happening at the local school for high school students to be able to graduate, making that kind of money, and thinking about in-demand high-wage careers. That's just the tip of the iceberg for where this can go. And I'm sitting here just thinking about, the foresight that the committee had to be looking at growth for connectivity within the region, and thinking about how AI is really going to change, artificial intelligence is really going to change higher education. It is to higher education what the internet was several years back, and the opportunities there that exists within our region as well. So, very much looking forward to the collaboration and working to provide those opportunities across Washington County and beyond.
Thanks, Susan. Other questions, comments, insights? This is curiosity time. Yeah. Yes.
I'm just curious, a lot of townships,
Uh-huh.
the communities have town governments or whatever, how do the townships, how are they represented?
The unorganized territories of Washington County and Aroostook County.
Okay.
And then and through that leadership at the county level.
And the townships.
Yeah, and the Washington County Unorganized Territories was through the TIF fund, made an important contribution early on to the planning for this region, as did Aroostook County's TIF fund. And that having their participation early on was really, really important.
The Washington County manager is here.
Oh, Renee, yes. Stand up so that, yeah. And Karen Weston is the new director for the Unorganized Territories for Washington County, having taken Dean Preston's spot, who's over in Calais at the high school, I think. Middle school, I can't remember. So he's an important person to get to know as well.
Karen was working on the comprehensive plan here in Danforth, so some of these folks probably have.
Oh, good, great, okay, good, great, thanks, Jen. Jacob, did you have something you wanted to add? Great.
I was wondering if you could expand on the Digital Equity Center and what it means for businesses in terms of their class offerings and how they're moving in the community.
I think that's under development, so I'm not, there,
Oh, okay, so the National Digital Equity Center is a nonprofit that's based in Maine. And so aside from offering, they offer everything. They have close to, if not more than 50 classes that are free to everyone in Maine. And they offer them in on-site locations or you can learn remotely. So Danforth is becoming an on-site partner location so that people can come and learn directly. So they have classes that run the gamut from very, very